Hi, it's Kristen again, and we're talking about what else? Hubs. And I have another thought on that, and the reason is last week I was at a conference on the East Coast that was for public sector resellers of technology. So people who sell to federal, state, local government, education, things like that, even utilities and healthcare. And at this conference, I was taking note at how many men were there representing their woman-owned business that's owned by their wife. In many cases, the wife wasn't there. In some cases, she was there as a guest. But it's very clear who runs the business. And yes, there are many legitimate women-owned, women-controlled businesses, but there are so many more that are not. And what occurred to me is these men are using their wives. Uh, they're exploiting their wives in a sense, in that just propping their name up as a business owner to achieve a status that they shouldn't achieve and couldn't otherwise achieve. So not only are they wronging their wives and exploiting their wives, but they are also disenfranchising men who own businesses who legitimately choose not to do that and could do the same thing. They just don't. They're men of character, and they compete on the playing field that their business should be competing on. So you can't just look at, for example, I own 100% of my company and my companies. But in Texas, being a community property state, and this is where the HUB program is, if I should pass away in my estate, 50% of my companies become my husband's. If he should pass away, 50% of my companies are his. And if God forbid, we should split 50% of the companies, because that's Texas law, community property. So ownership should go out the window in all of this. It should be control. And the language is kind of loosey-goosey worded because the state knows there's so many companies that do this. But if they really put the language the way it should be and tightened it up, the number of hubs would just go down to next to nothing. But shouldn't it be that way? Shouldn't we build it back up with legitimate hubs, with companies that should qualify? And maybe we need to relook at who should qualify based on gender, ethnicity. It's the historically underutilized business. So we have enough demographic information that we can see who is historically underutilized and make the program qualification, but put teeth in it. Make the language such that only they qualify, and if anybody falsifies, that there's strict penalties from them, not just right now and their status is left, but maybe they pay back contracts they won based on that false identity. Maybe they are barred from receiving any new contracts for 5 years, 10 years, for life, whatever. We can come up with the right penalties. But the point is, these companies, it's being overlooked, and everyone knows it. The friends know it. The buyers that buy from them know it. The vendors that sign them up as their minority-owned company know it. The customers that buy from them know it. Everybody knows it, and they just either it's the big elephant in the room that they just don't talk about it and pretend it doesn't exist, or they look the other way, or in some cases you'll even have buyers who are pressured to do hub business, which I think that's a good thing. Say, hey, if you put the company in your wife's name, I could buy more from you. I've seen that happen. I've heard that happen. So we need to tighten up the program. We need to look at not ownership. Ownership doesn't matter, but you could start there to see who's cheating the system. Look at a lot of 5149s, and not that the 5149 is bad. I'm about to go into a partnership in the next few weeks with somebody, and I'll be 51% owner, so we are a legitimate hub. And I will also be 51% in control. But if it's a husband and wife, then it's 5149, or if it's 100% in the wife, but she doesn't work there, or she's not the ultimate decision maker, then it shouldn't qualify. And they're really easy to cancel out and to weed out. So if everybody does their role to not accept it, to not condone it, to make sure that people doing that know that it's wrong, that it's illegal, then I think we can make a dent in the program, and we can make a little bit bigger dent every quarter until we get it right. This is Texas. We know how to do things right here. Let's do it.